Shalom, all praises to the Most High. Yehoshua, this is Sounds from YYBY. So vocals, right? One, never try to fix bad vocals. Like I told y'all, fixing bad vocals is like trying to put wax over a dirty car, man. That's the thing about it. A lot of the mistakes with vocals is that people or artists or whatever, like they try to, just because it's you have to have a different approach with every song or every vocal that you have. Every vocal is not the same approach, no matter if it is you, because that's how much intensive vocals can be. Sometimes you happy that day, sometimes you sad that day, sometimes you very aggressive. Sometimes you was closer to the mic. Sometimes you're further back from the mic, like knowing the mic technique. So every vocal has a different approach. And sometimes that's why I always tell artists it's not good to put a whole bunch of plugins on your vocals from the beginning. Because a lot of the time they want to do that so they don't want to pay the mix. But you got to pay the mix, man, if you want your stuff right. And the thing is, again, you can't put, it's like, fixing bad vocals is like, again, putting wax over a dirty car. Now, let me tell you like one of the problems what some artists do. They like to rush their music. They come to the studio, they want to rush it because they're on a time. They're trying to hurry up and get it done so they can hurry up and put it out, And the time they rushing to get it done, there's a lot of mistakes and flaws in the vocals. And normally I tell an artist what I think, but I try to see if they can hear it themselves first. Because end of the day, no matter how much we help the artists have to like their music themselves first, especially when it's business. And sometimes you have artists who have serious egos, like you can't tell them nothing. You try to explain to them the proper way to record. They don't really want to hear that. But the reason why you telling them that, so the better the proper way to record, the better it come out. Not only them presenting themselves in the mic, but the way you record it, how you format it. You put the hook on these tracks, you put the vocals and the ad-libs, and you do all these things on different tracks, and you organize it. And it's easy to maintain and mix it so don't be no confusion as an engineer when you're trying to make their music sound good. And another huge mistake, what a lot of artists do or what a lot of engineers allow artists to do. And I've did it before, and the times I've done it because of egos. People put too much on their vocals. You putting too much ad-libs on it. You putting less is a lot. Less is a lot. The less things are, the better it can stand out and you can hear it. I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Everybody got rap different. You got a rapper like Twista who he don't have spaces in his vocals. Then you got rappers who have spaces in their vocals. Sometimes they might say, yeah, I'm chilling on the corner. And everybody on her. And every time I see these dudes, there's something they are going up. So you hear there's spaces between the vocals. So now when you got those spaces between the vocals, then you come back and you add ad-libs in that spot. Some people call it fill-ins. They got different names for it. Fill-ins. They all ad-libs. You add the ad-libs in between those empty spots. Now you also got overdub. Overdub is where that whole verse you said, you come back and repeat that over again, the same way that you did it the first time, or long as it's on beat. The whole motive is to be on as one with your first vocals. And sometimes what that do is called an overdub. It's like some people call it a stack, and it give a certain type of sound. What the flaw with some people do, they would say different words on top of different words. they would have a whole bunch of different ad-libs on top of different words. Now that can fit sometimes based on how you pan it all the way to the left or to the right and sit it way in the back, something like that. But really that caused a lot of interference. It caused a lot of interference because you're not saying the same thing of your lead vocals or what you're saying. So sometimes they can pan to the left and pan to the right and sit out a certain extent. But when you want to sit here and put ad-libs on ad-libs on ad-libs and overdubs and fill-ins on fill-ins and a whole bunch of stuff got something going on, that don't sound good. It won't sound good. It would not sound good, you know. And then they'll put filling into one ad-lib, but the other ad-lib they don't really put no filling into. So it's kind of like you got to go back and, you know, it don't really have no life. You got to go, when you start those ad-libs, you got to go in from the beginning to the end. That's why it's always good to focus on your lead vocals first. Make sure they perfect. Whatever you're doing first, you want to make sure that's it right before you even go to the next step. Make sure that's right because you're building blocks. If this ain't right, don't expect the next thing to be good. Because if this good and it don't really sound good with the lead vocals, then you have to go do the lead vocals over. Then you probably got to come back and do the other part over because you got to remember it's called lead for a reason. That means that it's leading everything under it. So everything got to follow the lead. So that's why the lead has to be right first. I don't care if it's the lead vocals, the lead hook, the lead bridge, or you want to lead anybody. The lead part has to be very important. So when you rap that first verse, do not worry about ad-libs. Forget fill-ins. Forget all that crap. Forget the overdubs. Forget 99 takes. Whatever you're rapping, make sure that is right before you go to the next one. Then you knock that out. You knock that verse out. Boom. Go to the second verse. Boom. Go to the third verse. Boom. And then come back and do the ad-libs and perfect it. Then come back and do the overdubs. Well, sometimes you can do overdubs right then and there. But like I say, everything is a different approach. But the key thing to this is you want to make sure the first thing you do is right before you do the next thing. And when you filling in these ad-libs, they made to be there, but not very important. They made to just give it a certain feel and certain life. And some people like their ad-libs. Some artists like their ad-libs loud, really standing out. Some like them very, very low way in the back. Some like a lot of reverb on it. Some artists like a lot of reverb on their main vocals. Some artists don't like no reverb at all, even though reverb on every vocal that's possibly out. You just don't know it's there because it's just that low, but it gives it a certain type of depth in the vocals. So no matter what, it's put on there. So I tell people, I tell artists, and I tell, engineers that, man, the most important thing to this, man, when it comes to these vocals is vocal techniques. I don't care if you're in the studio with Dr. Dre, top engineer, Puff Daddy, or anybody. If an artist don't have mic techniques and understand when to be closer to the mic, when to be far back from the mic, when to be loud, when to be low in the mic, or how to stand. Your mouth don't need to be moving around like that while you rapping and all that. Your face turn over here while the mic is right here. Your face looking down here, looking at the paper. And the vocals won't pick your vocals up right like that. It's going to take away the life of it, man. And then I have to repeatedly say, hey, listen, this is what you have to do in the mic. Some people listen. Most people, artists, they listen. They want it done right. Because if you're paying your money, why you don't want to listen to the engineer? Why come to the studio? But then every once in a while you got that bad apple who can't be told nothing. Then they want to question why their stuff don't sound good. Your stuff don't sound good because you ain't good. You might got the oomph of maybe know how to rap, but you don't know you don't know the mic techniques in this recording studio. That come with time. That come with experience. That come with people like me telling you right now. Getting your words out clearly. Really putting the feeling into it, keeping the same energy. And guess what? A lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, the first takes that when you first come in the studio are really the best takes. You might just don't hear it. You might don't hear it at that moment. But I'll be like, yo, keep that. They be like, nah, I want to do it over. I could do it better. Don't fix nothing that's not broken. All you're doing is working yourself and making yourself tired. Because guess what? Like I tell artists, when you record this song, right? You get ear fatigue. And what you think sound good might don't sound good. Because normally when you go home and you listen to it, like an hour, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, or maybe the next day, it will tell you something different, how it sounds. It's either going to sound good or it's going to sound bad. Y'all get what I'm saying? So these are small techniques that y'all can do when y'all go to studios and dealing with engineers. Matter of fact, even if you get your own studio, have these same techniques. No matter where you go and what you deal with. You can, like I told y'all, you could be with the most top engineer in the world. If that mic performance ain't right, it won't come out right. Again, like I told y'all, it's like putting wax on a dirty car. This is YYBY. I hope that helped y'all.